Hello and welcome to this series of AWS services. By now I hope you have created your free tier account. Now in this video, I'm going to elaborate on some of the do's and don'ts while working on your AWS free tier account. These do's and don'ts are required so that you don't get charged on your account. So as I have already shown that in free tier account, only limited services are there which are free. And even those free services are free only till a certain extent. So if you are crossing that limit, you will be charged accordingly. So it is very advised that when you create a particular service, then before creating it, you go through its pricing option, understand how the pricing works, and especially whether it is free under your free tier program or not. So I get this question a lot that if I go beyond that limit, will this stop working? No, it would not. AWS will never give you a warning that you are going to get charged, especially if you are going to cross the limit. Though at a lot of places, it does give proper indication that this particular feature is part of free tier and what is not as a part of free tier. But having said that, it's not a rule. So first thing you should do is go to the URL of aws.amazon.com/free and find out what are all the services which are free and to what limit they are free. So you can see some of the most used services you can find under the featured section itself. So it not only says that what services are free but also tells you to what extent they are free. But again, this might not give you a true picture, because if you say take an example of EC2 instance where 750 hours is free, then 750 hours is free only when you use instance type t2.micro. You will understand this once you learn EC2 instance. So basically, even in these services, you have to be careful about what feature you are going to use. Some of the features would be under free tier, some of them would not be under the free tier. So before creating anything, just have a look on its pricing mechanism. To understand the pricing, normally you just need to Google with AWS the service name, for example EC2, and then pricing. So if you are using Google search engine, mostly on the first link itself, you will find link to their documentation where the pricing etc. has been discussed in detail. So for example, for EC2, you can see here what is free and what is not free. It's provided here itself. You can go through this page and find out that what features are free. So even after this much of caution, if you still get charged, then you can create ticket with AWS, go to their support center, raise a case here. Of course, you should also try to create the ticket in your own region. You can properly write your concern here. You can request for the waive off. If you have got some problem with your AWS account, maybe some service is not launching, then again you can create tickets etc. here. So AWS customer care is pretty responsive, at least as of now. If you just go through their contact method over phone, normally you will get immediate response. So not only for pricing, but for any kind of issue with respect to your account, you can create ticket here. You can properly select what is the service for which you are raising the ticket and the category of it and write your problem in the description, and most probably it would be resolved. Sometimes they waive off your bills as well, but be sure that you don't misuse this part. So another good practice while working with free tier account is that you should keep using it. If you create a free tier account and if you don't use it, normally AWS will reduce the limit of resources that you can create. So once you create an account, keep using it, keep creating EC2 instances, terminate them, but at least have some activity going on in your account. Because since AWS is providing free tier account, there is a lot of misuse of the accounts as well. So I think to curb that, AWS has started suspending the services for the account which seems to be dormant. So while following this course, whenever I create a service, you should go ahead, create the service, follow it up along with the video, and then once the video is over, don't forget to delete what you have created. It's very essential that you create the services, use it, and then clean it up. Delete that service. Don't forget that part. Also be aware that during the course, sometimes I have created some services which are not under free tier. So at most of the time, I have mentioned in the videos, but be sure to double check that what you are creating is free or not. So another good practice to work well with your free tier account is keep on checking your billing dashboard. So go to account here and go to my billing dashboard, and here you will be able to see that how much you have been charged and what is the forecast. By the end of the month, how much you would be charged. So you can track all of it by going to these details. So if you already got the bills, you can go to this bill section and find out that for which service you have been charged how much. So make it a habit of going to your billing dashboard every time you access your AWS account so that you don't get any surprises. So since AWS works on pay-as-you-go model, So even if you create, say, some costly service, then if you go and delete the service immediately or within few days, you can still save some money. Now another way to minimize your cost is use AWS calculator. So use this URL, and for all these services which are written here, select properly your region and find out which service and which feature costs how much. So this particular AWS cost calculator will help you get an idea about what is the price of various services and further what is the price of each feature. Another good practice to keep in mind is that you should ideally work in your nearest region. So if I am working from India, I should use this Asia Pacific Mumbai region, and you should create all the services as much as possible in that region. Of course, some of the services are not available in all the regions. For that you have to select some other region, but as much as possible create those services in your own region. So this will make sure that you are aware of what services you are creating. For example, if you are creating multiple servers and all of them are in the Mumbai region, then every time you go to your EC2 dashboard, you will be able to see that okay, this much servers you have already created. But if you are using other regions as well, if you are using multiple regions, then you may create some resources in other regions and you may forget about that, and ultimately you will be getting charged for that. So choose your local region as much as possible. If that particular service is not available in your region, then I would suggest you to select either North Virginia or this Ireland region. So North Virginia and Ireland are two regions where most of the services are found. So all the new services that they launch, you can find almost all of them in these two regions. So if you keep all these best practices in mind, then most probably you would not be charged for using your free tier account. So keep it in mind that AWS provides you free tier account for learning purposes and not for commercial purposes. So don't misuse it, use it responsibly and use it often. So once we have discussed all these factors about pricing, let's go on, create some services and dive into this series of AWS web services. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching.